casters have completed their die roll. They are ready for the clash. So let's go ahead and let's get into this as SpicySausage will lead us off with the first turn of the game.
And look at those full moon playmats. I am in love with them. I love them so much. They're beautiful. I know that's not the point, but I just needed to point it out.
Yeah, that actually, the mat that Johnny is playing is from Cards HQ. He is going to mulligan here, but that is from our locals. That day, I remember we played round 1. He demolished me. It was not even close. 0-2. I went 0-2 to him, and he ended up winning out from there undefeated. And I went undefeated after losing to him. It's can't feel too bad about losing if you lose to the guy that ends up winning the entire thing.
I mean, that's the way to do it, for
That was
sure.
how I felt about losing to Bo round 1 in Dallas. Like, well, she won the entire thing, so I guess I can't complain that much, but...
I mean, yeah, if you're going to take a loss. We do see what looks like a mulligan from Johnny S, and I'm looking at some solar spirits here, so I don't know if that is indicative of anything going on. I'm intrigued, to say the least.
That's super interesting to me because Johnny is known for playing Fire Artifact at locals. And it looks like he's going to mulligan a Fire and a Water. We're going down to 16 here.
Oh my goodness.
These hands not performing the way that he wants to, but potentially he's been mulliganing like this all day and it's gotten him this far. So hopefully looking for that hand that will actually get him across the line.
I mean, hey, if, like you said, if it's a hand that is going to be serving you better than the other two, then it is worth mulliganing, which is a lesson that I need to learn. I can say it here all day, but I have never not kept a hand that I've said, I probably shouldn't keep this. Well,
now, I've gotten confirmation from production here actually that Johnny is indeed on Fire Artifact here, and Spicy is on something a little spicy in the form of tracking.
Oh my goodness. Okay, the spirits here are puzzling to me. Oh, okay.
That's a werepup.
Apparently, Dracking werepup is what SpicySausage is on. Oh my goodness.
That is horrifying as a turn 1 play from SpicySausage here. Werepup. It looked that animation looked like he was chucking the moon into the sky.
Considering Johnny is 2 mulligans down and about to be facing down an insane board here, it does kind of feel like that moon is being chucked into the sky.
I think the moon might be getting chucked at Johnny here. Spicy ripping that full moon in the draw phase with a water spirit, and we're just going to go ahead and ascend into the Leica Void and then go get those werepups from deck as well. Nothing Johnny can do but watch as Spicy sets up one of the strongest turn 1 boards that I think the game of Elestrals has ever seen from a single card.
Yeah.
Just the werepup gets you there. And I think Spicy is failing to find the Leica Void that was in his hand. I think he's only playing 1, so searching through it.
That feels terrible.
It's a little comedic.
I wonder where it could be.
But I don't know.
But yeah, this is terrifying, and Johnny is simply going to be taking 4 right to the face, unless there is something to be done about this very soon.
Yeah, this is a horrifying start, but the start of a Volcaries from Johnny probably feels pretty good. The PTA doesn't feel that great though on Spicy's side.
No.
Johnny getting that search though.
Also, can we talk about how PK is somewhere yelling at the sky that he is missing both of his predictions on board at the same time?
Yeah, he was absolutely right. He he predicted Leica Void COA, Volcaries COH. But unfortunately, we're the ones to see it here. He's just gonna have to hope that one of these casters ends up making it on to play another mirror in this kind of way of the 2 predictions he wanted. But it looks like Hephaestus is coming down. for Johnny, and we're going to immediately disenchant to search for the Necklace of Harmonia.
Okay, I guess Johnny is going to attempt to take care of... I don't think it gets over the Lyca. Do we get over Lyca Void?
It will get over the Lyca Void.
Okay.
The concern is that he will still have to expend for the Harmonia before the PTA payout occurs. So this is still an expensive play, but it does out Spicy's board. And I think that's what really matters here. The Harmonia is free, thanks to Volkari's special ability to allow Johnny to play artifacts with fire from the underworld when he plays his fire artifact runes. Or any artifact rune, just the ones with fire here.
Yep.
As long as Hephaestus is on board. And it looks like he's considering exactly how he wants to navigate this. Does he want to swing? Is there maybe another set he's looking to put down? And looks like they're gesturing at this Lyca Void here. It should be able to be hit over by the Volcaries, and we are swinging with the Volcaries. Takes out...
Yep. Lyca Void is simply going to go down here, but as you mentioned, we're going to be taking that burn from this Necklace of Harmonia, which was sort of refunding one of those mulligans before this happened, before the incident. It was making it feel a little bit better. But all in all, getting rid of the threat of Lyca Void, which is, as you said, one of the most powerful boards that you can set up in Elestrals right now, it's worth what was a very expensive turn for Johnny.
Yeah, and in all reality, these casters aren't that far off in terms of spirits, just as a result of the fact that Johnny mulliganed twice. If there wasn't a double mulligan, Johnny is actually in the lead here. But Spicy going to cast a Spectaris is going to put up a lot of pressure, and Johnny praying that set is a tsunami. That's what he needs right now.
Spectaris paired with the Lyca Void and the suppressed Werepups has been really, really cool to see all day today. And it looks like Johnny going to be taking that damage. Yeah, this Spectaris is a very serious threat that he is going to have to deal with soon.
Yeah, normally people think of Spectaris as being a good out into the Lyca Void Werepup board, but when you play it yourself and you're able to say, here is my 7 attack Spectaris, that is pretty strong.
Johnny only working with 7 spirits here, even though we are barely into this clash. This has been going very quickly. However, we still have Hephaestus on board there. We know that we have the Volcaries at least in the deck somewhere. We might be able to do something here.
And looks like Hephaestus' search ability is used, getting out the Scythe of Demeter, which is an interesting decision to be playing in this deck. The Scythe of Demeter cannot be cast. Well, you can cast it using fire spirits from your underworld with the Volcaries, but it doesn't get its effect when you do so. However, the resting on your laurels from Johnny is very big here, likely taking out the Spectaris as the main threat on board currently, and hopefully a big Elestral will come down here to contest this board. Something like a Kinleo could be really big, and that looks like that is a Kinleo from the tournament pack. And
that was a really smart play from Johnny, getting rid of the spirit from the Hephaestus to be able to get the spirit count low enough on board to activate that resting on your laurels. However, this Kinleo, as ever, is going to immediately be met by a Gorgon's Gaze. Unfortunately.
Yeah, that's Spicy probably feeling pretty good here. Spicy only 1 card in hand though. Johnny, I think 2 cards in hand and 2 cards set. Honestly, not in a terrible position, but Spicy going to ascend into a Draking, which is turning this game immediately in his favor. If there was any point of contention where maybe it wasn't, now this is the driver's seat. We have found it, and the gas is being pressed.
I don't know that we have ever seen Draking this many times on a Premier Tournament stream, but here he is coming out, putting in the work. Johnny not having an answer here. Kinleo going down, and with only 5 spirits left to work with and a gigantic boy on field. And actually, we have that Poison Nectar Monthly card being the representative of the Ghost Kinleo over on SpicySausage's side.
Yeah, that's a very nice little stand-in here. But Johnny going down to 3 spirits feels very, very rough. I will say this has been a very short, I think, 4-turn game at this point. I think this is turn 5. And Johnny, despite everything, I think could walk away from this saying, you know what? It was the Werepup turn 1. Spicy probably won't see that for the next 2 games. It was double mulligan from me. That probably won't happen again in the next 2 games. There's a lot of pieces here where, despite how quickly this has kind of deteriorated for Johnny, there's a lot of pieces where he can walk into siding saying, that was one bad variance game. My opponent varianced well. I varianced poorly. I can win this from here on. I just need my deck to perform a little bit better. I need Spicy's to perform a little bit more average.
Very true. I mean, as you pointed out, when this was happening, the Werepup like Avoid stuff is one of the most powerful openings that we've maybe ever seen in this game. And Johnny, having already started out with the 2 mulligans, was already in a bit of trouble trying to deal with that. And we see, I believe that's a Torch of Hestia.
I think there's a Reforge, potentially, that's
okay.
going to be getting back the Necklace of Harmonia, as well as 2 spirits from the Underworld to the Spirit deck. And that's getting back hand advantage. That's getting back spirit advantage. That is pretty big for Johnny to see here. And getting back an Earth indicates to me that we might have an Earthquake that is ready for this tracking.
Or the Scythe of Demeter could just be in case
Also
Johnny is going to use that, which could be nice for healing if we have more Earth in the Underworld. I know that we have those solar, which makes me think, are we playing Golden Fleece in here somewhere? Is Cypher Mall hiding? I'm not sure. A lot of questions that I have, that is certain.
A Necruff coming out with a fire under it to try and start pressuring spirits here. I like the decision to correctly enchant it as just a pressure mechanic here. Considering putting the necklace on it, I think. But it looks like we're going for Scythe instead.
Okay.
I like the Scythe here. Getting some healing. Swinging and burning. If that set is a shield, though, the game is over.
That is...
And that is what it is.
Exactly what that is. Oh, no. Yeah, this is one of those games. Sometimes your opponent has everything that they need to answer everything that you try to do.
Yeah, it looks like Johnny is going first and is starting off with, I'm pretty sure that is the Volcari's champion of Hephaestus there. We can go ahead and search out for our Hephaestus from the deck.
Yeah, it looks like that's exactly what we're doing here. There goes the Hephaestus. And, I mean, hey, you were just talking about possibly Argo is a good option here if we're going and getting the artifacts already. Maybe they're just there. And, of course, with Volcari's and Hephaestus, they are free. You get to pay for them with those spirits in the Underworld. And that's, I believe, Scythe of Demeter.
Yeah, Scythe of Demeter, a solid pickup here. Being able to make those artifacts free really does so much for this deck. It gives it a lot of options. Trying to sneak a peek into Johnny's hand there. See what cards he's got. I did see a Fire Elestral in there. There is the Torch of Hestia, though. Played for free onto this Volcari's. 1 back row set. And likely a pass of the turn.
Okay, this feels more like a start that this deck wants to see. We've set up the Volcari's, the Hephaestus, we have an artifact, we have a back row, and SpicySausage starting out with an Astrabbit. Okay, so no Werepup turn 1 this time.
I believe that is a Gorgon's Gaze on the Astrabbit to prevent looking at the top 3, Spicy setting 2, and passing back to Johnny.
Johnny really not wanting to give SpicySausage any kind of advantage here, any way to get ahead on cards. And we saw that kind of play from Soren earlier in the day, which was interesting to see. And Johnny coming out here with an Eddy. Although I imagine activating the effect there, moving Rabbit into attack.
Spicy's going to need a couple of pieces to deal with this, and a Tsunami to put that Astrabbit to defense will absolutely do it. Volcari's very vulnerable in defense position. Johnny, no sets.
Okay, so if Werepup is gonna happen, this is a really scary turn to do it.
Yeah, this would be a brutal turn for this to come out, but the Specteris going to be able to put pressure on this Volcari's. And just like that, sort of the key part of Johnny's deck is going to be taken down. Astrabbit going to attack position.
Okay, we're reading the effect here, seeing, okay, so we're suppressing things. Does this make my Astrabbit hit over?
And there's the Zeus
a Zeus would.
Astrabbit to hit over. We found the piece that we were missing here on the desk.
That is, in fact, what did it. Okay. There's the disenchant from Zeus.
We'll make the Zapdos do a kickflip while we declare the effect target. That Volcari's will likely be the target. Or potentially, I guess it's the Eddy. Either way, Astrabbit gets over either one that you Zeus.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, Johnny has lost his board. Spicy has everything possible available to him. And this is looking pretty dire.
Yeah, very quickly this has gone the other direction. However, we're always... we have that Scythe of Demeter in hand. We could see another Volcaries. We could be back in a good position.
Smoltuga does it as well. That walls this pretty well.
Going to be going and searching out a 1-cost Fire Elestral from the deck here.
That will be pretty big to search out either another Volcari's, a Nekruff, a Kindleo especially. Looks like a Kindleo is our search target here. Makes sense given the current board state with the double enchanted Hephaestus. Specteris that might be kind of difficult to get over.
Especially if we think there's a Werepup coming. As we were just talking about last game, having those Werepup coming in suppressed does bump up the Specteris to a very threatening 7.
Yeah, don't want to see Specteris get too large. He may be at the gym training to be a superhero, but we'd like to prevent that from happening. And a Scythe of Demeter going onto the Smoltuga is very interesting here.
Boosting up that defense even further, making this a really, really difficult wall to get over. And actually, I think making it not possible for even Champ like a Void to surmount.
Yeah, I think the plan here is this might be an indicator that Johnny doesn't have any back row. And so the Zeus will not allow the Smoltuga to get hit over any longer by the Specteris. The Zeus plus Specteris does deal with a 5 defense Smoltuga, but the 8 defense doesn't.
We see Smoltuga and the Scythe going away here.
I think SpicySausage's camera may have frozen here.
Oh,
and so we have something that was able to get over the Smoltuga, and then we take 2 damage here.
Okay, so maybe just a removal of some kind, possibly a resting on your... I don't know if we have enough for resting on your laurels. Something, and possibly going to be getting an update on the camera situation here pretty soon.
And we're back. I see it was Draking that did it. Yeah, Draking ascend over the Specteris. Is going to get there in an Earthquake to deal with the Draking.
Well,
will also do pretty well here.
Yeah, that will in fact do it. But also that makes me wonder how much Earth is Johnny running? Being able to pay for the Scythe of Demeter, being able to pay for the Earthquake. That's I want to see this spirit deck more than anything, genuinely. And here comes that Kinleo that was searched out with the Smoltuga last turn. Hephaestus still on board with 2 spirits, making it a huge PTA target, which is what SpicySausage uses. However, that's not going to stop the effect.
That is true, and that will allow this pop on the Smoltuga likely, or the Astrabbit. The way that Spicy reached for the Astrabbit indicates to me that he was a little jumpy on it. And if you're Johnny, you read that like, oh, my opponent doesn't want their Astrabbit to get killed because they immediately reached for it, assuming that I would make that decision, so I should make that decision. Kind of like a tell that like that is the best play you can make because they was like, oh yeah, you'll do the right thing.
I mean, hey, re-enchant rabbit is always crazy. I've never seen it not work out for someone personally.
It's true.
But we're still deliberating here, and Johnny really thinking on this. Of course, knowing that SpicySausage is going to have to expend for that PTA at the end of this to pop the Kinleo. Unfortunately, those spirits are going to be lost, but hopefully going to be able to make the most of it in the meantime.
Looks like Astrabbit is the pop.
Okay.
If Johnny has an Ambrosia here, that would be very solid. Eruption off of the Kinleo. There was I won't lie, I had it in my mind. I was like, Eruption would be pretty good here because
yeah, and there it is. Oh my gosh,
insane! And the animation for it too. That's so sick.
Okay, yeah, gonna be burning today apparently. Oh my goodness. And SpicySausage, their board going down to just that Smoltuga. However, here comes, I believe that's a Foamy?
That's a Foamy. That is a gorgeous little Christmas hat Foamy.
Baby, okay. With 2 back row set, and I don't know that we've seen any kind of Spectaris or anything from Johnny, but that's what you want into a Foamy.
Yeah, the Foamy being able to float into the Schnark to search tracking is pretty strong. Johnny gonna go down 2 spirits here, not leaving with him a lot of breathing room.
And unfortunately,
that's just a concede from that position. That is all of the Hephaestuses. That is a Cryoblast. That is nothing going for Johnny. A very, very tough first top cut match for Johnny. Just not seeing the pieces that he needed. And it very, very tough set for Johnny.